Hey, hope this finds you well. Let me tell you a quick story because we're storytellers in my family. And this funny thing happened the other day where I was talking to my father, and and he's in his early 80s and is fond of telling stories that we've heard a few times before. I'm guilty of this myself, so I'm not hating. But the point is that there's a moment every now and then where a story pops up that I'm like, how have we never heard this story? And this happened the other day. When I was young, I was born in upstate New York, and then we bounced around a good bit up in the Northeast. We lived in Danbury, Connecticut, and Bethel, Connecticut during part of that time. And when we were living in Danbury, I was very small. Like, I have memories of that time of like my sister and I like literally putting on Mickey Mouse ears and sitting in front of a TV that kind of had to warm up to watch the wonderful world of Disney and that sort of thing. So I was very young. And we lived across from this elementary school. And my dad was commuting to New York City via train. And that's not a short thing. That was a lot of effort for him to commute into the city and commute back out every day. And he remembers that time fondly, but that was a whole lot of effort. And that's important just because we got to the end of one particular week. It was a Friday, apparently. And he had just gotten home. And we had this dog, this yellow lab named Snow. And we loved Snow. Snow was great. But Snow was not so great. Snow had some challenges and was a bit of a gypsy. And on this particular Friday, my dad gets home from after commuting all the way in to New York and all the way out and working full days and he's exhausted. And he gets home and my mom's like, Snow ran away. Got to go find Snow. So the story goes that my dad went out and about looking for Snow. Okay, sure. And a while later, it's getting dark. It's late. My mom steps out on the porch because my dad's walking back up to the house. But instead of Snow, he has a cow, a donkey, and a goat. Now, we did not live in a rural area. We lived in Danbury, Connecticut was not a rural community at that time. We lived in a, suburban middle-class neighborhood across the street from an elementary school, and here comes my dad without Snow, but with a cow and a donkey and a goat. And my mom's like, what the hell? What is happening? Where's the dog? He's like, I don't know where the damn dog is. But I found these guys. And she's like, how did you? He's like, I just was walking around the neighborhood and there they are. Well, as it turns out, there was behind the elementary school, there was a barn that was part of like a petting zoo sort of thing they had. And as it turns out, that petting zoo had, you guessed it, a cow, a goat, and a donkey. And clearly they got out after everybody had gone home. So my dad walked them back to the barn and got them back in there and locked them up. Came back to the house. It just was like, I'm done with the dog tonight. Just went to bed. And apparently around 4 a.m., Snow came back from his carousing and was barking outside the window to be let in. I'm just telling this story because it's a funny story, but also because stories. I gave a talk last week to the Society of Professional Consultants, and we were talking about storytelling and the power of storytelling. I have this song called Road Trip from 3 or 4 records ago. And in the song, I told the story to people on a road trip getting to know each other. And in the second verse, it says, we tell stories to fill up the hours, to write a chapter that's all you and me. You tell that one to prove that you're broken. I tell this one to prove I'm the same. You tell one just to show me you're funny. I tell one just to show I can change. My point is that we tell stories to share something about ourselves. Very often in what I do as an authentic communication coach, somebody will tell me a story at length And when they finish, I will often ask them, what do you think you just told me? Because we're sharing something about ourselves. We're revealing something about ourselves. And we're coming closer together in the doing so. So I guess as we're moving into this holiday weekend and beyond, as you're gathering around tables or on date nights or what have you, maybe spend a little less time just catching up about your day. Spend a little less time going through the list of things to do, and a little more time just asking for stories. Tell me a story about something. And then tell me why it matters to you. I think that time mattered. That story about the cow and the donkey and the goat mattered because it was this time full of hard work, but also adventure and interesting things for my folks and for the early years of my sister and I, and then later my brother. Yeah. Tell more stories. Listen to more stories. People are telling you about parts of themselves they want you to see. I hope that's useful. I hope it's entertaining. Be good to you. Bye now.